What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Paul, and I'm back with my first video for MLB 17, the show. First off, I want to give a big thanks to San Diego Studios for including me in the group of folks that were able to get a preview copy, mess around with the game a little bit ahead of tonight's release. I am putting this up on Monday, March 27th, I think. Yeah, because the 28th was the day. Anyway, it's going to come out later tonight. Going to be the full version. Going to be on the normal server and all that. But I wanted to hit you with this video ahead of time so that you go into the market prepared. And what I'm doing is I've got 3 groups of players that I want to offer up as potential investments. I feel like they could get an upgrade into the level just above them. So for golds, it'll be to diamond. For silvers, it'll be to gold, and then for bronzes and some commons, it'll be into silver. I didn't do anything for commons to bronze because that's not really going to move the needle. In fact, honestly, I understand that bronze to silver isn't necessarily going to move the needle on the market either. But if I like them to jump from common or bronze to silver, they could keep going. Obviously, that means their skills are at a level where they're going to rise up. Obviously, these first 2 groups are going to be the ones that you're really going to be interested in if you're somebody who plays the market looking to make big stubs. If you're just looking to get players who improve while on your team, you might be more interested in that 3rd group because they're going to be very cheap and they're going to go from common, bronze into silvers as the year evolves. So we're going to kind of go through it here. This first video is going to be the golds. I have 11 golds who I feel like could go to diamond in relatively short order. I'm talking within the first couple months here, right? You know, if some of these guys get to diamond by September, I mean, that would still technically be right and all that, but it wouldn't be what I was thinking. I'm talking about the early investments, the guys who we could see if they come out of the gates firing, pitching really well, hitting home runs, stealing bases, all that sort of stuff. They could be the quick movers early on. So let's just dive in. We got 11 guys who I think could go to diamond early in 2017. And we're going to start with the guy who's already on right here. You see Jacob deGrom. And I absolutely think that he's somebody who could get that boost. He's a major riser right now in fantasy leagues. If you play fantasy baseball and you've been following kind of spring training and you play in multiple leagues and you've done different drafts, you've seen Jacob deGrom really have his price go up. And the reason it was down initially is because he had ulnar nerve surgery, I think back in September. And of course, anytime any guy gets cut on, there's concern, right? Any surgery is potentially problematic. Some surgeries are less problematic than others, and this happens to be one such surgery. The ulnar nerve surgery is not something that is a major concern according to injury experts, and we had somebody over at Fangraphs, BJ Mack, who wrote right around the time that deGrom got it, that this wasn't going to be a big issue. This wasn't going to be something that kept him from having the kind of off season that pitchers want to have and all that sort of stuff. So he's come back, gone into the Grapefruit League, which is a spring training league for the guys in Florida, and just dominated. And I'm not so concerned about his statistics in spring training. It's the fact that his stuff is there. His velocity's back. Everything looks good. And so, honestly, I'm just more or less projecting deGrom to get back to diamond. If you'll recall, he was a diamond before. So I think a big April, I'm not exactly sure when the updates are going to start. They'll probably let a few weeks go before they even start doing updates. But if he has a big April into May, we could be seeing an early May diamond for Jacob deGrom. Next up is Yu Darvish. And now we are full year and a half, I guess, removed. Maybe it's 2 years. Did he have it in March? 2 years ago? I can't remember. His Tommy John surgery is way in the past now, right? We went through a full season last year. He kind of had his ups and downs. I think he had a DL stint, but you saw vintage Darvish at different points last year. And this is a guy who's always had diamond skills. He just always hasn't necessarily put up the diamond results. Well, I think we have a good chance this year. And the 2 big growth opportunities are, of course, that Hit 9 and BB 9. We know the Ks are already there. Of course, I'm not ruling out a K boost. If he comes out and he's striking out 12 per 9, they might be inclined to bump him up to 96 or something like that. But the real gains that we're going to see potentially are for his hits and walks, and even potentially his homers, right? If he goes out and he keeps the ball in the yard, they'll raise the homer 9 and it will raise his overall. That doesn't necessarily help us, but that's for more of an investment thing. A lot of people really pay attention to the badge on the card. So if they see a diamond, even if it's because his homer per 9 moved from 62 to 72, his price is still going to go up, whether it should or not. But I think his skills should actually go up as well. Hit 9, BB 9, and even some K9. So I really like Darvish this year. Definitely keeping an eye on him. Next up, I really like Masahiro Tanaka. Now, he's another guy having an amazing spring. And again, I'll reiterate, I don't go around looking at spring training numbers and saying, oh, he's got a 0 ERA or a 2.0 ERA. He's amazing. What I'm looking for, if I'm looking at any sort of spring stats, are their strikeouts, their walks, how many homers they're letting up, kind of the basic things. And then I'm reading reports on their stuff. If you'll remember, I think it was 2 years ago, we learned that Masahiro Tanaka has a partially torn UCL, which is the ulnar collateral ligament, the ligament that pops when they have to get Tommy John surgery. And that scared a lot of people. Partially torn, that's terrifying. They're like, well, it's going to tear the rest of the way, and he's gonna get Tommy John. It could, right? Here's the dirty little secret, though. A lot of pitchers are pitching with partially torn UCLs. We just don't know about it. Hell, they might not know about it. Partially torn, it could be 10%, it could be 40%, it could be 80%, although I think that would really impede their ability to pitch well. The way he's pitched since we've learned about it, I feel like Tanaka's is probably on the lower end there. Again, I'm not saying it can't pop, but I just love what I'm seeing out of Tanaka, not only in spring, but also last year. And I think he's a guy that we could see evolve. If he is healthy and he's feeling as well as he does now throughout the season, again, those hits 9, K9 are going to be factors that could really jump up. Homers have always been an issue for him, so I don't really expect that to be a big growth spot for him. But hey, maybe he stops hanging the splitter so much and keeps the ball in the yard. But the hits 9 and K9 are really where you're going to see potential growth out of Masahiro Tanaka. Next up, a guy we called for an upgrade about 5,000 times last year, Carlos Carrasco, and he never really got there, and some of it was kind of his own doing. There were periods where they definitely could have upgraded him into maybe even super great, super high gold or fringe diamond, but he didn't get up there, and I get it. And he had a little bit of an injury scare earlier this season himself, early in the spring training. I think he was scratched from he had a really bad outing, and then they did an MRI, but the MRI came back clean, and everything looks good to go. I think he's pitched again in some games, so we're getting the all clear for the start of the season. This is a little bit more of a gamble, I will freely admit that. So if his price is through the roof, maybe be careful. I wouldn't go out and necessarily get a whole bunch, but if you want to just maybe get 1 or 2, depending on how much you invest, he is still somebody that when he's pitching, Carlos Carrasco can be elite, so I would certainly not disregard him. I got 2 more pitchers, actually 2 more starters, 2 relievers, and then 3 hitters. By the way, my main focus on these is pitchers. That's something that I study a lot more than hitting, so I feel a lot more comfortable giving recommendations there. So just keep that in mind as we go through these videos. Next up on the starter, my last starter here is actually a silver, but I do think that he could be so good, Lance McCullers Jr., that he could jump all the way up to diamond. Now this is gonna work for the next video too on guys who could jump up to gold, but I did want to include him here, and I think I included 1, maybe 2 others. Actually, you know what? I included 3 silvers on this diamond potential, and they're all Houston Astros. Now, I do live in Texas, but I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, so this isn't some homerism toward the Houston Astros. I just think they've got some great players who have the skills that could really jump up. Now, looking at Lance McCullers Jr., well, they don't put the junior because his dad's not playing, so it's not necessary to delineate that right now. But he is, in fact, a junior, and his dad did play in the majors. But if you look, I think we could see, again, the hits in the BB9 for him. His K9 is already there at 84, although, again, I'm not going to rule out an upgrade there. He could bump up all the way to 90-something because he can miss bats. Now, health has greatly eluded him. Can I see his durability? Let's see, where's that? 85. That's interesting to me. I think that's too high, if I'm being honest, because health has been a major concern with him. But Lance McCullers has some of the nastiest stuff in all of baseball. He can sit 95, 96 with his fastball. His curveball is absolutely devastating, and his changeup, when it's on, drops off the table. Now, he needs to stop walking so many guys. I think a month and a half of walking maybe 2.5, 3 per 9 could get him a little bit of a boost. I think last year he walked 5 per 9, so it was a big issue. So even a 3.0 walk rate, which is not great, but it would merit an upgrade. It would show some growth for him. The hits 9 and the K9 are 2 spots that could really grow, and perhaps even his break. Now, they don't update or they didn't update pitches a lot in season last year. Although with MLB The Show Tips, Stephen Haas now on their live content team and heading it up, adding another mind to the team and getting a separate guy there to completely work on this live content, he may be more inclined to update pitches as the season goes. So if we do see Lance McCullers get out to a great start and he updates the curve and change to kind of reflect some of the break that they have, I think his stuff is nasty enough to be more of honestly like an 80 break. So I don't know how much adding break would change his overall, so we're really focused on the skills. Hit 9, K9, and BB9, all three of his could get a boost. Obviously the hit 9 is the biggest one for me. I know that the BB9 is the lowest, but that's because he really sucks at not walking guys. But he's pretty good at not allowing hits when he's on. So that's going to be his ticket to really jumping up. Gold, I think, is very, very doable. Diamond is a long shot, but it's possible for Lance McCullers. All right, two more pitchers here, and they're both relievers. And, oh, wait, they're actually closers, excuse me. And the first one is Kelvin Herrera. Now, y'all know Kelvin Herrera from last year. If you play MLB The Show, you are not surprised by Kelvin Herrera's greatness. And the fact that Wade Davis got traded and he's going to be the closer for the Royals now probably has you excited. I know it has me excited because I know firsthand just how devastating Herrera's stuff is from this game. And I think he's somebody who could really take hold of that closer's job and become one of the best closers in the game. And that would be, via limiting hits and getting strikeouts. So I think that K9 is the big growth area. It's at 75 right now. When he's at his best and missing bats regularly, he's somebody that can have an 80-something, low 90-something K potential. So I think that that's where we could see the biggest growth. His walk rate has been kind of up and down. Sometimes it's mediocre to solid. Other times it's been good. But overall, I understand why he's a 66. He could work on that. But I would think that the K9 is the best chance to really grow, and then the hit 9 could get there as well. When he's on, nobody's hitting him. He's so nasty. He's got a devastating changeup, amazing fastball. You see the 95 velocity, the 87 break. That tells you all you need to know about his stuff. So if he could get up to like an 88 with the hits 9 and an 85 with the K9, that would be a big boost to his bottom line for his overall. So keep an eye on Kelvin Herrera. You're going to just want to get him because you want to use him on your team, but you might want to add another one or two to your collection just in case he gets an upgrade. And then the other is our second Astro here, and it's Ken Giles. He's right there on the cusp already of gold. That's why I put him in here, and same with McCullers. They're both 84s. So saying that they could get gold pretty soon, that's kind of like duh. Because honestly, it could be, 3 points to one of their metrics that gets them to gold. So to make like a real call here, you gotta say more than they're gonna go up to gold. So that's why I have them included in the diamond stream here, or in the diamond video, excuse me. And I really like Ken Giles, another guy who is just an absolute beast. The walks would be a great avenue for him to really boost up his rating. He's had walk issues in the past for sure, but I think hits 9 is most likely to be a spot where he can really grow. I think that that's going to be one where now one of the issues that Ken Giles has had in past years is getting off to bad starts, and that could really bury him. He ended up with an 8.2 hits per 9 last year because he had a disastrous April, and he never really dug out of the hole. So, but he's had 7.6 and 4.9 in previous seasons. Now the 4.9 was only in 45 2/3 innings, but that's half a season. So if he had a 4.9 for half a season this year, it would really start to show kind of the growth that he's having. Now, in that same season, he had 2.2 walks per 9, and that'd be really good as well. The last 2 seasons, he's been at 3.2 and 3.4, though. So I do think that I would rate him hits 9 and then walks 9 are the 2 avenues where he could really grow. You can't really grow much in K9. He's been so good at striking out batters and missing bats that he might get to the 99, but that's not really going to move the needle. And then homers per 9. His first season he was 0.2, second season 0.3. Last year he shot up to 1.1. The thing is with a reliever, you only have to give up a few homers to have a crappy homer per 9 for the whole year. He only gave up 8. Like, that's not that many, and if you get clustered, like you have that bad start that he did, and you give up 3 in like 7 outings, well, your homer per 9 is kind of jacked for the rest of the year. So he's at a solid 70 right now, and if he gets back to what he's been in previous years, even that could jump up, and that's what could propel him to diamond. So if he gets the hit 9 and the homer 9 upgrades, that's how Ken Giles gets to diamond. All right, moving on here. Let me pull up my list. We got 3 hitters, and we'll finish off the Astros here. And of course, it's Carlos Correa. And some of you might be laughing because if you follow kind of the upgrade market and people making projections on upgrades, you'll know that we were very aggressive on Carlos Correa last year. We were saying he's one of the first guys who could go diamond. He had that amazing 99 games 2 years ago, and hype was just through the roof on him last year. And it's not like he had a bad season. I would dispute anybody who wanted to say that he was bad last year or fell off. He just learned, like a lot of young guys do, the rigors of being in Major League Baseball for 6 seasons. You know, when you have a great 99-game run like that, the league is ready to come back and get you. They want to make adjustments. They want to punch you in the mouth and say, hey, young blood, you know, we've been here for years. Good luck. And he still held his own. He still had a hell of a season. And then my colleague at Fangraphs, Sayers, learned that he was playing through some nagging injuries. He did not. Correa did not want to make an excuse with that. He refused. Gave him every opportunity, and he was just like, no, I was out there playing. I should have been better. So he's that kind of guy that, when he's playing, he expects to be a total beast. And I don't know if you guys saw him at the WBC, but he looks yoked. I mean, he looks like he's really coming into his own with his body. And so I really think that those power metrics are where we could see the biggest jump early on. And, he goes out in April and puts up 8 homers and just has this beast first month. All of a sudden you're looking at, depending on how the breakdown is, if he's railing both righties and lefties, just crushing them with the bat, we could see big spikes there. But if it's really against righties, and say 6 of the homers are against righties, and he has like a 650 slug against them, I would see like a 10-point jump pretty quickly, right? So, there's a lot of avenue for growth here, even that contact versus lefties. What if it is a situation where 6 of the homers are against righties, so he boosts that power, but he's still hitting 310 or maybe even something obscene. In a month, you can hit 400 against lefties, and that wouldn't be that outlandish. And all of a sudden, Tips says, you know what? We got to bump him up a little bit. We're about to see a breakout season. So I like a lot of growth potential for Carlos Correa. I'm not going out on a limb necessarily projecting him for a diamond, but I can definitely see it this year. I'm not giving up on this guy at all. And then we got 2 outfielders. Wait, did I say 3? Oh, I said 3 of the Astros were silvers. It's actually 4 Astros in all, because now I'm going into the outfield here with George Springer. And again, he's an 84, so projecting him to gold isn't really saying much for y'all, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit more meat than that. And so that's why I got George Springer as somebody who could get to diamond. And it's going to be that growth against righties, 62-60. He needs to hit better against righties, righty on righty. The beauty is he's going to be a leadoff hitter. He's going to get a lot of plate appearances right off the bat. And I just think that he has the chance to continue to evolve. Age 27 is sometimes, it used to be known as the prime time. When guys were going in their age 27 season, that's when you really would see them take a step up. That aging curve has moved up a little bit these days. We're seeing guys get better younger, but that doesn't mean that we don't still see massive breakouts in the age 26, 27, 28 range. And so I really think we could see continued evolution from George Springer. Also, another sneaky one could be his stealing. He was 9 for 19 last year, which is absolutely horrific. That means he was caught more, 10 times, than he stole, 9. So that was really, really bad. He has talked about base stealing this year, about how he wants to be smarter, be more efficient. And so again, a hot April where he goes 8 for 9 or something like that, that would merit an upgrade. And we could see if they bumped him all the way up to like 55 because of that, boom, all of a sudden you're talking a few overall points. If he's also hitting against righties, we're not only are we talking a solid gold, but we're talking about a potential diamond. So I really like George Springer. And then last but not least, I think he might also be a center fielder. Yeah, he is. I just saw him. It's your boy, Christian Yelich. Now, I know some of you say I look like him, and that's very flattering to me and very rude to him, but I'll take it. Anytime I can be compared to a beast like Christian Yelich, I'm in. Now, notice there's a little bit of WBC flavor in here with both Yelich and Correa. And I don't want to get too hyped on WBC games, but watching them play this year, they both looked amazing. And they're great players, too. It's not like I'm picking some out of nowhere common and saying he's going to go to Diamond because he got 5 hits in the WBC. But Christian Yelich has continued to evolve every single year. And this is what I'm talking about with the aging curve moving up. He's only 25, but he already has like 3 full seasons under his belt. So he's kind of ready for that big breakout. Now, the power is where the growth continues. We saw last year 21 homers, career high. If he continues to hit for power, and if he can get better doing some lefty on lefty crime, shout out to my boy Chase, that's where you're going to see the quick growth. That said, even if he doesn't, even if he continues to struggle a bit against lefties with the power and he beats up on righties, we're going to see that power versus righties inch up. So I really like that as an avenue for growth for Christian Yelich. So there it is. I'll review these guys. 11 guys I think could go into Diamond relatively early into the season. I know it's a bit nebulous. I'm talking within the first couple of months. So you're going to have to be patient with some of these. If they're not upgraded in the first or second upgrades, don't come back at me and say, oh, you know, these guys didn't get upgraded. We got to have some patience with these investments, especially because I don't even think that upgrades are going to start until the first couple weeks. But to review, we got starters Jacob deGrom, Yu Darvish, Masahiro Tanaka, Carlos Carrasco, Chris Archer, Lance McCullers. Relievers, actually closers, since they are a different category, Kelvin Herrera and Ken Giles. Shortstop Carlos Correa, and outfielders, aka center fielders, Christian Yelich and George Springer. I'll have 2 other videos coming out for guys who could jump into gold and guys who could jump into silver. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.